facing a good Alabama State football team coached by Eddie Robinson. And we knew those guys had a good football team, very, very, very good on defense. And so we was prepared to battle and had a good football game for a half. They returned the punt, got up 7-zip on us, which we didn't want to do. And then we was able to block a punt and get a short field and tie the game up. And then we scored right before half to take the lead 14-10 with maybe 19 seconds left. And we tried a deep middle squib to run a couple of seconds off and then executed very well. They recovered on 40, ran a play, checked it down, and got 13 yards to the 47 and threw a Hail Mary and caught the touchdown before half to take the lead and the momentum away from us going into the half. So that was very deflating, as well as our defense that played the first half. To go into halftime down was very deflating and turned the momentum of the game. And we came out second half. And, we was still pleased at that point because technically those two plays, they hadn't scored on our defense. So we thought we were still in good position. We just had to come back out, get a stop and get a score, and we'd be in good shape. And defense did. They came out and got a stop. We actually took the ball out of one of the receivers' hands and started running back down the field. So we got great field position. And third down, we took a sack, kind of pushed us back, and we tried a field goal, and it got blocked and returned for a touchdown. And so within 5-minute period, they scored 14 unanswered points on a Hail Mary and a blocked field goal. And that put us down 10 against a very good defense. And it was tough hauling ever since from that point on. So they was able to beat us in 82nd Magic City Classic. Got to take my hats off to Coach Robinson and Alabama State. They was ready to play. I didn't have my guys ready to play. They was more physical than we were, and they won the football game. So we got to go. We got to watch that tape, which we did already, and learn from it, and get ready to play who I think is the best team in the league, FAMU, coached by Willie Simmons, and got a great challenge. They come in here to be senior day fours, and we look forward to the challenge.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach, man.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Back at it. Wanted to ask you, obviously, in regards to the game. I'm not sure the last time I've seen a game that had big plays for scores, touchdowns on both sides, back and forth throughout the game. When you're going through that process in terms of coaching, you tend to have plays that you scheme up to take you down. What are your thoughts when you're going through it, when you start seeing, hey, man, this game is going to be decided by large chunk plays?
Well, you never thought that just going into the game. They got one of the top defenses in not only the conference, but the nation. And our defense was playing well. And so we kind of thought it was going to be a low-scoring game and not a lot of big plays. And next thing you know, you got a punt return for a big play. You got a punt block for a big play. You got a field goal block for a big play. And then we got a couple of big plays in the passing game and in the running game too. So you're right. It was unexpected, and it is what it is. It's a lot of times it's a blown coverage here or a missed tackle there that makes that play turn into a big play.
Certainly, follow-up question is about turning the page, getting to the next game. You talked about the Rattlers, as you see, as one of the best teams in the SWAC. Obviously, their ranking in terms of HBCU sports being 1 or 2 ranking, top 20 team. I asked this more about the players. Do you see them getting excited when they have, quote unquote, ranked teams coming to the house to play?
I do. I think, I've said it before, these guys, it don't matter what your record is. They're going to play hard on Saturdays. Well, our job is to get them prepared during the week. When they get out there on that field on Saturday, they're going to play hard. You got the band playing, you got fans in the stadium. It don't matter if you're 1-9 or 9-0. On Saturday, the guys gonna play hard. I don't care what they do during the week. On Saturday, they're gonna play hard. But you got to be prepared and ready for Saturday. You don't win the game on Saturday. You win the game during the week. But they're gonna play hard. So they'll be excited. FAMU's coming to town. The number one team at HBCU, or number two team at HBCU, and number one team in our conference. It's senior day. Still got a lot to play for, and it's the next football game. You can't live off last week. If we'd have won the game last week, guess what? Fam is still coming to town this week, so we still got to be ready to play. So you can't live off the first quarter. You can't live off the first half. You can't live off last week. You got to play again this week. Win, lose, or draw, you got to get ready to go again, and that's what we got to do.
Mr. Andrew, welcome back this week. Do I have a chance to ask maybe one more question?
Yes, sir.
Coach Maynard, to follow up, oftentimes you hear coaches talking about the need to stop the run against the team to kind of go from there. FAMU hasn't necessarily been just successful as much as they would say Coach Simmons in terms of running the ball. Is that unique in regards to needing maybe to stop their pass versus going into a matchup stopping the run? No, you can't get into your game time developments, but could you leave me a framework going into this matchup against FAMU from an offensive perspective with your?
Well, they still very dangerous in the run game. They not where Willie want to be in the run game, but they still a very dangerous team in the run game. They can still hurt you in the run game, as well as the passing game with Musa and those dangerous wide receivers. So, you got to pick your poison. They can beat you both ways. They can beat you in the running game. They can beat you in the passing game. They can be very explosive in the passing game, and that's why they number one team in the conference. Man, they got a good football team, not only offensively but defensively. Sure. And then they well coached. So you just got to be prepared. You got to play hard. You got to make plays, and we got to be ready to go. It's a great challenge, and we look forward to it.
No doubt. I look forward to the matchup. Good luck this week, Coach Maynard.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynard with Alabama A&M. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Floor is open for questions. Any final questions for Coach? Coach Maynard, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. We'll pause here momentarily. Appreciate your patience. Once again, for our media participants on today's media session, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. For coaches, please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we do have additional time allotted in our coaches' availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, we'll move towards Alabama State. Coach Robinson. Coach, as always, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Yeah, good morning. Good to be here. Good to see everybody. So, we went up to Birmingham, playing the 82nd Magic City Classic. To me, it's the biggest game of the year. Great game, great atmosphere, great crowd. Guys are out there tailgating all week long. So, everything that was leading up to the game just said it was going to be a really good game. Both teams were, coming off some big wins and everything. So, getting into it, we two really good defenses, so I expected that part of it. We were able to get a punt return by McMinn. He's been really close to returning one, so it gave us an early lead. And then they scored, I think, in the last minute of the second quarter. Both teams scored. They had a good play by one of their kids, number one, Terrell Gardner, who was a Grambling High School kid. I think what was so great about this game was that, then Keyshawn Johnson came with a Hail Mary play, just trying to, take a shot. This type of game, you never know, and he was able to answer that. Both of those kids are from Ramsey High School, so it's a lot of Birmingham kids that scored touchdowns in the game. And I think, just for both schools recruiting that area and getting those kids to stay in state, it's great when the local kids do well. Coming back in the second half, we were able to get things going a little bit and had a blocked field goal, should I say. And once again, Burgess, he's from Huffman High School, a state champ in basketball, was able to scoop and score, and he runs that back. And another Birmingham kid that scores a touchdown. And Xavier Langford, their quarterback, he's from Pelham, so he scored a touchdown in the game, another local kid. So it was a back-and-forth game. We expected it to be kind of like a wild affair, and that's how it went. Both teams had really good defenses. I think their kid, number 4, Hayes, played a really good game, trying to figure out why we kept running to his side, but he made a whole bunch of plays on us and almost had a pick early in the game. So I think just fortunate to get a W. I know the score seems like it was, a little bit of difference between the team, but it was a really close game all the way to the end of the game. We were able to score late, but we know these type of games go down to the fourth quarter, and both teams played extremely hard. I thought Coach had his guys ready to play, and it was no quitting anybody, and we expect that to happen in this type of game. It's a true rivalry game, and just fortunate enough for us to get a W. Going into next week, we play in the Port City Classic, going to Mobile. Alabama State hasn't played in Mobile in quite some time, so we're anxious to get down there and play in front of the local fans and that type of stuff, and playing Grambling. And so we know they're coming off a big win, so it'll be a big challenge within the conference.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Congratulations on the win. Good morning, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Wanted to ask you about the uniqueness of this game, that the scores, particularly touchdowns, came on big plays. But in particular, your special teams were able to get here and really make things happen. Talk about the uniqueness of your special teams, and they came up big in this matchup.
Yeah, well, we've been preaching special teams. Our special teams have been playing really well. This is our second time blocking a field goal for a touchdown. And so I think everything on special teams has to be exact. And the beauty about coaching that position is that you kind of involved with everybody on the whole team. It's almost you just like the head coach. You're talking to the offensive and defensive guys, all of the specialists. And so they're making some really big plays, and that's been key for us. Special team Coach Gresham, he was a player here. I remember him when he was a player here. And so we've just been pushing the special teams the whole year, and in this game it paid up for us. Some of the things we've been practicing finally happened. And then for kids, you keep telling them it's going to happen one game, and when it happens, it's in the biggest game of the year, and that makes you feel good as a coach that they were paying attention.
You talk about the next matchup going into Mobile. It's against Grambling. What are your thoughts in terms of what they bring to the table, particularly what they've been able pretty effectively on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, it'll be a big challenge for our defense. I mean, you're going against one of the top-ranked offenses in the conference. Of course, Miles Crawley was here for a couple of years. Great kid. Had a good relationship with him. Hated to see him leave, but his dad went to Grambling, so I understand that pull to get back home to where he grew up at. And so he's been having a really good year, and he can throw the ball. We know he has a really strong arm, so our kids are familiar with him. But he's just one person on the team. We have to be prepared for all 70 of those guys, not just Miles Crawley. So that'll be the message to the guys. Let's make sure we're playing Grambling State and not just the guy that we know pretty well. And so, wishing him the best of luck, and it's going to be a good game.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Jay Keith.
Hey, Coach, JT Keith, USA Today. Hey, you've beaten Southern this year, Jackson State, and in Alabama, and A&M. Where are you at in your program in your second year? Where do you see yourself as your team?
Well, I guess you asked me that after the next 4 games, I could probably answer it a lot better. But I think right now we're like everybody else. We're just trying to win day to day. Our message to the kids was win each day. And so we're going to come out here and try to win Tuesday when we start practice tomorrow. But hopefully we're turning the corner. We've played a lot of close games, and so we just have to keep pushing. A lot of the mistakes are small mistakes, but what I love about the team is the effort. Every week you turn on the film, guys are playing extremely hard. They may miss a line, make a mistake here or there. We have to just keep coaching and correcting that. But I think as long as you play hard, you give yourself a chance to win. So, and we're becoming a more disciplined team. We're not getting as many penalties. That was a big problem last year. So we can correct those two things. I think it gives you a chance to be in every ball game.
And Coach, what about your quarterbacks?
Yeah, I thought Stewart played a really good game. I mean, he managed the game. I think he, got through it. He didn't take some chances like he usually would have. But I think in this type of game, just looking at the flow of the game and the score and realizing that you have a good defense, you scored twice on special teams. So, hey, the biggest thing is you want to get a W more than anything else. Davis didn't play as much this game, put him in for 1 or 2 plays, but he's a guy that's still in the mix. I think he's still competing week to week. And as long as Stewart's playing well, we'll play him. But if he has a little bump or a hiccup, then I think Davis is right there to get back into it.
Thank you, Coach.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions? All right, next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, congratulations on the win this weekend. I want to pivot to your high school playing days, and Brother Martin this weekend will take on the St. Augustine Knights. And that's a pretty big game in the city of New Orleans. I wanted to see if you had any thoughts regarding that.
Yeah, that goes back to 11 quad A football. And so some great moments for me as a coach, but something that hopefully I may be able to get there. It's Friday night. And so, we're going to recruit down that way. We'll be in Mobile, but great players on both of those teams. And so definitely have to recruit both of those high schools. And of course, I'm wishing Brother Martin the best of luck.
I bet you are. Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to JT Keith.
Hey, Coach, I had another question. What makes Colton Adams a special linebacker, and does he have a next level talent?
Yeah, I think he does. I mean, he's the guy that just always tries to get better. He comes in here probably at 4 o'clock, wants to watch film with me. Disrupts my day, make me have to stay later in the night to watch the film I'm supposed to watch. But he wants to get better. He wants to be a good player. I think he works on his weakness. He pass rushes extremely well. One of those guys that side to side has a lot of lateral quickness and is a lot faster than people think. So he's not as long as you want to be, but he's been the same height his whole life. And he led all of FCS and tackles last year, and he's doing a great job this year. I think he's a candidate for Player of the Year, and he's one of those guys that if he gets a chance, if he gets into a camp, then he'll make plays and people won't want to cut him.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Absolutely. I just want to congratulate Coach Simmons and FAMU for winning the East. I know they'll represent this side really well in the championship game.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Absolutely.
All right. Next, we will go to Alcorn State. We're a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach McNair's availability. We'll be back momentarily. All right, once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach McNair with Alcorn State. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Mississippi Valley State.
I thought it was an excellent football game. I thought Coach Wade did a great job of bringing his team in and having them prepared to play. We get to open the kickoff and we go down and we score 3 points and come back later in this first quarter, get another 7. We went scoreless in the second quarter and they kicked the field goal there. Go into halftime at 10-3. We come back out and score 7 more, go up 17-3, and fourth quarter we put another 7 points up to make it 24-7 in the ball game. But I thought they did a real good job on the defense side of the ball, Coach Wade and them, mixing up in the secondary what they did. Kind of gave us a little problems in the passing game, but we figured it all out. In the second half, we came back and made some adjustments to get the passing game going, and our running game was very steady again. We finally found our mojo in our running game, so we're doing things to open up the running and passing game as well. So special teams, I thought we did an okay job in terms of our kickoff team going down and making tackles, bottling up the return guy they had, which he's a good return guy. Give credit to those guys of coming in and playing very hard. I thought our defense played really solid, sacking the quarterbacks a few times and just allowing 3 points on the board. So just played steady throughout the whole process of the game. Another week to get better. Got a real good Southern Jaguar football team coming in. Coach Dooley have those guys ready to play. A lot at stake. So we just got to be prepared to play a good Southern game here on Saturday.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, y'all won a couple of SWAC titles before the COVID year, and then it really kind of set y'all back. I was wondering how the rebuilding and job has been going, and are you getting close? Are you back to where you want to be?
We're getting very close. I think that we're doing the right things as coaches, finding our recruits that we need to come in and make an impact on this program. I think we're doing a great job in that recruiting average, so we're getting there. We're close. We just got to keep coaching these guys up to play better each and every Saturday, the one that we have here. Hopefully this next recruiting trip will put us over the top where we need to be, not making any excuses about the way we're playing. I think we're doing a great job of playing the guys that we have here, making sure these guys are ready to play on Saturday. So we're getting close. We just got to keep fighting. And these guys I have right now, they resilient. They don't give up. They fight to the end. So we got to prepare for a good fight this weekend coming against Southern.
And also, if I may, Aaron Allen, I know he kind of got off to a slow start, starting last year and everything. Talk a little bit about his development, and looks like he's really excelling, especially in his efficiency.
I think the biggest thing is just he understands that he don't have to have that big play all the time. Just take what they give you. Establish yourself some completion early. Get him comfortable in the pocket. I think the offensive line is doing a real good job of protecting him. Receivers doing a great job of catching the ball for him. So he's very comfortable now. I think Coach Phillip is doing a great job in the classroom teaching him the concepts of everything and the schematics and what the defense is trying to do to him. So he understands that now. He reading defensive coverage very well. Had a slow start this past weekend against Valley, but he's coming along very good. I'm proud of where he's at right now, the way he's playing.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach. The reservation is one of the toughest places to play in the SWAC. Can you talk about that and what makes that so?
I believe we have to make it real tough this weekend coming up because we got a real good football team coming in as well this weekend. So I think the fans and the stuff they see when they get here on the reservation kind of overwhelm them of how when they come in, what they see when they come in those gates, when they're driving through the crowd and they see the excitement and the fans, friendly people. It's tough here. I mean, it's tough to play here. I can imagine coming here playing myself, but it is a tough place, tough crowd. It's a tough venue. So we're going to need that this weekend out of our fans this weekend. So if we get that kind of crowd and get that kind of venue here this weekend. I know Southern, they're going to bring a lot of people too. They cover the grass as well. So it'll be a good venue this weekend for us for a great football game.
And you talk about how tough this Southern Jaguar team is. What is it that makes them so tough, as you put it?
And they play a lot of tough stuff on defense. Play very hard on defense. They relentless on defense. They don't give up much. Offense, they can be explosive at times. A lot of things they do in their tempo. When they run the tempo very well, up tempo stuff. So we had to be prepared for all that kind of stuff. Offense and defense, we got a tough task ahead of us. Even on special teams, we got to lock in on more special team stuff as well. So things that we have to do to prepare for this game it's gonna be a tough week for us. So we're excited. We're up for the task. I think the young men that we have, they've been in these kind of fights before, so they understand what it takes to win.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. I know nothing's been decided with the SWAC West and the way it's been played out this season, but you guys are in a position to, if you win out, you can win the division. What's it going to take for you guys to be able to accomplish that goal for the season?
I just a week at a time. You know, I told my guys, you know, every week since the Grambling game, it was a playoff game every week. So it's a playoff game this week coming. So we have to win the first one. So this is another game that we got to win to be able to get to our ultimate goal. So, you know, this is one that's in front of us, and we don't look further ahead for none of them. It's just this one here. It have to be a good Southern football team coming in, and so we got to be prepared to play them. Talked to them yesterday at a team meeting about it. So these guys up to the task of whatever's going to come in on here on Saturday. So be a real good football game for us.
As a follow-up, Coach, when did you know that this team was prepared to make a run for the SWAC West?
Well, you know, these guys are relentless, man. I got a group of guys that just take no for no answer. You know, they always think they got an answer for everything. You know, they play hard. They come out and fight. These guys are very challenging. I think they understand now that just to believe in the things that we teach them as coaches and get a good understanding of what we're giving them is going to make it work. But these guys are going to continue to work each and every week. I don't care what kind of weather we're in or nothing. It's going to be cool this week. So these guys come out in short sleeves and ready to work. So they put their clicks on and ready to go. So these guys are very relentless in the things they do. They prepare themselves each and every day they come to work.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, I'm not sure about this, but it wasn't Jarvian Howard hurt earlier this year. Has he had some injury issues, and how's he come through that?
No, he was never hurt. He was just banged up a little bit, just a little sore, like any other running back, you know. But he's a tough guy, and he's been playing hard. He had a couple great runs. I think he had over 100 yards this past weekend. So we're looking forward to keep that going. In our running game, I think the offensive line, like I said, you know, they're doing a very great job of keeping those guys upright for the most part in the running game. So we keep those gaps open, and those guys be able to hit them and score points. That's what we're looking for. So, but no, he hasn't been hurt this year. So we're just looking forward to him coming out and getting better each and every week.
Have you seen opponents like really focusing on him as the key to stopping your offense?
Yeah, we've been getting that a whole lot from the first part of the year up until now. You know, everybody's stacking the box on us, and you know, didn't think we have a passing game, but they see it now. So now they have to defend 2 parts of our game plan. So the run and the pass as well. So you take away one, we're able to do the next one. So we're gonna always have a plan for it. So hopefully this week we'll have a steady balance of both of them during the course of the week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Just wanted to ask you follow-up some questions in terms of this matchup, particularly the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, in a lot of ways, you want to be balanced or do what's necessarily to get your team going. Oftentimes, it starts with the run. Southern tends to have a very good up front. How do you think you're going to match up in terms of the trenches, and what do you want to see to get done to make sure that you can move the ball, put yourself in position to put up points?
You know, Southern always had a good front seven ever since I've been playing them. Dr. Cavill, they've been very good up front. So I think that what we have to do is really get honed in on what they're gonna do, what they can do best in terms of what they're gonna play, the fronts and stunts, and and all the things we got to get ready for. But I think our guys up for the task. They've been in these battles before. You know, most of the guys we have, they seniors, and they've been in the battle before. So Coach Ratner have those guys ready to play up front. You know, just to protect that front seven Southern gonna bring in.
Quick follow-up, also with this matchup, special teams. With this being such a powerful matchup, first places online in the Western Division, how do you think special teams will play in this game? Any more than general normal in a lot of games that you play?
No, that's the third part of this game is special teams. So you got to be ready to play. I think that when you talk about special team, you got to be very good at all phases of it.
Yes,
whether it's
sir.
a punt return or kickoff return, even field goals and PATs plays a very big part in. One problem in the special team area, you can get hurt by it. So we got to be very good on special teams, and I think Coach Powell's been doing a pretty good job of doing a good job with our special teams in terms of what we've been doing. So hopefully we'll keep that going and prepare for Southern. I know they're gonna have a lot of special team stuff too, so we'll be prepared for them.
Good luck this weekend. Excited about this matchup. Look forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you guys.
Sure, thank you. Next up, we will go to Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woody. You see that we have Coach with us. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that, happy to be joined by Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Grambling State.
First of all, I mean, the kids fought hard. I mean, Coach Hugh did a great job of having these guys ready. I mean, we started out on a drive. We had a 58-yard touchdown on the wild play, went up 7-zip, and we ended up, having a miscue, fumbling the snap, actually in the end zone from the long, actually our center, and mishaps, and they ended up tying it up 7-7. Instead of, falling on it, we ended up letting them recover it, and then they went on ahead with another rushing touchdown, and then we ended up going out of the second quarter. They had a 61-yard rushing touchdown going into the second quarter, and then we ended up having a 77-yard fumble recovery by Amari, and it was 21-14. And then from there, they controlled the ball on the ground. They got two really good running backs, but at the end of the day, we just got to do a better job of tackling and making sure that our technique fundamentals are in place.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Obviously, your team continues to fight. They're in games, but just can't quite get over the hump. What are the things you continue to work at in practice to make them continue to push forward and get better week to week?
Well, Doc, just focusing, obviously on the details and then putting those guys in those situations as far as responding. And the problem, as always, when you put guys in the situation and they don't respond, you guys got to find a way to do other things differently. So we just gonna continuously, pressing the details of it and just making sure that we tie the loose ends, and that's why we watch film. That's why we coach, and we have to make sure that we coach those guys in a way that they must finish. And like I said, it's not like they're not trying, but again, we got to find, creative ways, to be able to score points. I mean, we punted the ball, 9 times, and their punter did a good job of pinning it. But again, we have to make better decisions, for our guys, to be able to win a hidden yardage.
Follow up, next matchup is a Thursday night game with Valley. Talk about your defense and the home game and what you want to see your defense get done to try to hold down Mississippi Valley on Thursday night game.
Well, just the 5 A's, we want to make sure we're aligned, right? Assignment, adjustments, alerts, and then obviously the attack phase. But, at the end of the day, play with unbelievable effort and technique and fundamentally sound.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman.
Can I follow with that being the case?
Yes, sir.
Coach Woody, if you allow me to follow up in terms of just the Thursday night games, could you provide your perspective of how you think about Thursday night games in terms of being on broadcast television and kind of the sole focus, in at least from a league perspective, FCS? Do you see that as beneficial
Well, I
in
mean,
terms of recruiting?
yes. I mean, obviously, to be able to be on, national television, and obviously, don't really know how many games going to be played, but I know we're going to be playing, and I think that's a big deal.
No doubt. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward
Thank
to the
you.
matchup.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Tamona Stapleton.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Fine, and yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for taking my question. So moving forward to 2024, when you look at the various positions that you have and building the team, what are you looking for in terms of your recruits for 2024? Are you going to collectively as a whole? Your defense has been actually playing pretty well in a lot of these games. So what are you going to looking forward to build off for the 2024 season?
Well, we're going to evaluate, obviously at the end of the season, and we want to look at each position, and we definitely want them to be good character guys up front. The game is always decided, by that, especially in the beginning, in the trenches, and that's where we're gonna recruit, O-line, D-line, and we want to get the best available guys that's going to come in and help continuously change this culture here, but we want to start in the trenches.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we are a few minutes ahead of schedule for Florida A&M. We'll be back momentarily. All right, now time is 10:45 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we go to Florida A&M, and Coach Simmons with the Rattlers. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Prairie View A&M.
It was a great weekend all around. Started with a phenomenal week of events here on the House of Seven Hills for our homecoming, and culminated with a huge win. I'm proud of the guys for how we stayed locked in during the week. A lot of distractions, but the guys were able to put all that aside and come out and play arguably our most complete game of the season. And again, just happy to get the win. Great to find the news in the fourth quarter that we had clinched the East. Definitely a goal we set out for ourselves. So excited about that, and looking forward to going to Huntsville this week to take on a very talented Alabama A&M football team. We know it's going to be a hard-fought game, and they're coming off a big loss in their rival game. So sure they'll have a lot of motivation to come in and try to spoil our parade, so to speak. And so we need a great week, but excited about the opportunity to head to Huntsville, and glad to be where we are.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach, and congratulations to your team for clinching the Eastern Division here in the SWAC football race. With that being said, our first question will go to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. Just talk a little bit about meeting expectations, being the favorite of preseason to win the SWAC East, and actually doing it quite early before the end of the regular season.
Well, it's one of the goals we set out for ourselves. We knew we had a talented football team coming in. I think everyone else knew that as well, and that's why we were picked to win the East. And so with that comes the responsibility of trying to do everything you can to continue to control your destiny. Started out with a great game down in Miami Gardens, and it's carried throughout the season. So haven't played our best ball all year, but we played well enough to win, and that's the goal. So great to be in this position, but it is a goal that we set out for ourselves. But we do understand that the work's not done.
And speaking of that, Coach, how would you try to instill in your guys to maintain an edge, to stay focused, to stay sharp, despite the fact you clinched and so early in the schedule?
Well, clinching the East was a goal. It's not the ultimate goal. We still have a lot of football left to play. So in order for us to achieve our ultimate goal, this was one of the ones we had to accomplish. And so we know the work's not done. We know that there's a great opportunity this weekend to continue to play a high level of football. Every chance we get, it's our chance to do that. And these chances are dwindling down for these seniors. There are only 3 games left in the regular season. There are only 4 guaranteed games left in their careers. And so for them, it's about dialing in and doing the things daily to position themselves to be successful and getting their teammates to understand the sense of urgency that they have. And if we can continue to do that and keep the main thing, I think we'll continue to practice well and prepare ourselves to go out on weekends and give ourselves the best chances.
All right, thanks.
Next question goes to JT Keith.
Hey, Coach JT Keith from USA Today. Hey, can you talk about just personally being able to win the SWAC East and then to beat Jackson State, and because that's the only game you lost in the SWAC the last 2 years? What's that mean to you personally?
Well, it's definitely been a huge accomplishment. And, it's just one of the things that had kind of evaded me in my career as a head football coach. It's my first divisional title. It's exciting, but again, it's not about me. It's about these young men. It's about this coaching staff, the support staff, Rattler Nation, that pours their blood, sweat, and tears into this thing just like I do. And so this is a team effort. Again, I get a lot of the credit for it, but I've never done it alone. I couldn't do it alone. So my success is their success. Their success is my success. And that's all a part of that family that we talk about every day.
And what would it mean if you guys could win the SWAC title and play in the Cricket Celebration Bowl?
It will mean that we accomplished all of our goals that we set out for ourselves this season. And that's what we've been playing for. That's what we practice for. So we know it's out there. And, not every team in the country can say that now that they're in the race. There are some teams that still have an opportunity. There's some other teams that are mathematically out of it. We're fortunate to be one of those teams that are still in the thick of it, and we're blessed to be here.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Brandon. Doing well.
Good. First question is, did you get the steak yet?
Did I get my steak? No, Dr. Cavill still owes me. So we're gonna I ain't gonna forget about that.
Inquiring minds want to know. I'll leave him to work that out. But on a more serious note, wanted to talk to you about your running game. Since you've come out of the bye, your running game has been much improved. You've averaged about 218 yards per game in the 2 games coming out of the bye. Wanted to ask you in terms of what the improvement in that, was that based on some of those fundamentals that you referred to coming out of the bye week, and how confident are you in to be able to continue that? And then how much more does that make your offense even more potent with the consistent run attack?
Well, obviously, whenever you can run the ball, it makes you a lot more difficult to defend. We've shown that we can throw the football with the best of them, and when we can get the ground game going too, it makes us almost impossible to defend. And we made a concerted effort during the bye week to recommit ourselves to running the football. That's the way we practiced it. That's doing our self-scout, what runs were effective, and then really just getting with the running backs and offensive line to make sure we were all on the same page. And coming out of it, we've had 2 stellar rushing performances, and we've got to continue to do that. Like I said, we're very, very good when we run the football. Our defense even plays better because we keep them off the field. So I commend Coach Henry with the offensive line, Coach Wyndham with the running backs, Coach Spady with the tight ends of making sure that we are able to run the football, because, again, that's something that I always wanted to be able to do. And the last few weeks, we've been able to get it going.
Next question.
I was going to say, good luck this week, Coach, and thanks for that. Hopefully you get the steak. Hopefully.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
It's Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavills, inside the HBC Sports Lab. First of all, let me say thanks, Brandon, for the making that reminder. I thought I was good. I did put on a green tie to try to help me out with that, but it's not working. All seriousness, I want to talk a little bit about the superlative game your team played against Prairie View at home and homecoming. What were your thoughts in terms of the takeaway about what your defense was able to do in a lot of ways to stop Prairie View that has the ability to get some things done both on the ground and in the air?
Yeah, our defense has played lights out all season, and I don't ever worry about those guys. The way they prepare, their mindset, their attention to detail is some of the best I've ever been around. And they're playing on the field is showing what they do off the field. Today is our day off, but our defensive players are all throughout the building watching film, trying to get a leg up on the Alabama A&M football team. And because of that, we perform well on Saturdays. So those guys they've been carrying us for really the last 3 years. And but they say defense wins championships. So if I had to pick a side of the ball that would be dominant, I would pick the defensive side of the ball. And fortunately for us, we've had one of the top defenses since Coach Ryan Smith and his staff took over on that side.
Certainly great points. I'd be remiss if I didn't say congratulations for wrapping up the Eastern Division. Obviously understanding a lot of more things that you want to get done, including putting yourself in position to host the SWAC championship game, which means you need to continue to get it done against your next matchup, which is Alabama A&M going up to Huntsville. Last time you played up there, your team had to come from behind to earn a victory. Alabama A&M, much like your team, is playing pretty solid on defense. What do you want to see your offense be able to get done against that pretty stingent Alabama A&M defensive ball club?
Well, 2 things jump out when you watch those guys play. One, they're very opportunistic. They create turnovers. And so we got to make sure for us that we're able to establish the run, which we just talked about, and how effective that is and how it allows us to be successful on both sides. And we got to protect the ball. The ball can't hit the ground. That's fumbling, that's incompletions. Last few years we played them, we've turned the ball over on quarterback, running back exchange. 2021, they ran it back for a touchdown. Last year, they recovered it on the short side of the field. So we can't give a team like that who's prolific on offense as well those extra opportunities. So ball security is of the utmost importance this week. And so we got to definitely make sure we stress that and don't give a team like that extra opportunities.
Thank you, Coach Simmons. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you, Doc.
Any final questions for Coach Simmons with Florida A&M? Coaches,
If you would allow me to follow up with one question, being that the case.
Yes, sir.
Just want to ask you, Coach Simmons, in terms of your ball club, of what you've had over the last couple of years. Can you compare what this ball club has been able to do with some of the other teams that you've had that stacked up winning seasons and 8-9 games over the season thus far?
Yeah, I think the thing that separates this team, one, is that we don't really have a glaring deficiency. 21 and 22, there were a couple of areas where we felt we weren't quite as strong. So we in recruiting, in off-season recruiting, we tried to address those needs, and we felt we did that. So we're deep at every position. We have leadership at every position. We have 28 guys that are on this team that are graduates, playing in their last year of college football. So again, just the veteran leadership that we have and the amount of depth at every position, I think, is the thing that separates this team from other teams. They've all been talented, but this one has a little bit more depth and a little bit more experience, and that's helped us in big ball games.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you. All right, next we'll go to Grambling State. Coach Jackson, do see that we have Coach with us. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Jackson. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
Thanks for having me. We're excited to get the win, get back in the win column this past weekend against a very, very scrappy Bethune-Cookman team. We were just excited. It was senior day for our seniors to send those guys out with a victory, and we're looking forward to continuing this journey this week as we go down to Mobile to play Alabama State.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. Floor is now open for questions. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations on the win, Coach.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Your defense was able to hold Bethune-Cookman to under 100 yards rushing for the game, averaging 2.4 yards a carry. Can you speak to what inspired that out of your defense?
Well, I think hopefully it was from our bye week. We really focused on some things that we needed to do better. I thought our defensive front seven played extremely well. I thought the secondary also had a lot to do with that as well, as far as being involved in the run game, filling the right gaps, making sure we stayed on top of their offensive players. So I thought it was an all good around effort and great job by our defensive staff coming up with the right game plan.
And Coach, this Alabama State team has some very big wins this year, defeating Southern, Jackson State, and just winning the Magic City Classic. What do you anticipate taking on this opponent this Saturday?
No, they're a very good football team. I mean, they're really good defensively. Obviously the head coach is a defensive guy, he's a tremendous player. He was a great player in the league when I competed against him. So I'm looking forward to it being an unbelievable matchup for us. We got to go play our best football.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
How you doing, Coach?
Good.
That's good to hear. This is Timona from She Loves the podcast. You have 3 more games left, and with the exception of Alabama State, they're all in the West. Talk about your focus in the locker room on the offense and the defense with your players, and what are the coaches saying to those players to instill in them the importance of finishing strong and finishing the job?
Well, you just said it. It's really about one game at a time, finishing strong, playing every game like it's our last over these next 3. And we're going to prepare as if it's one game seasons. All we're worried about is playing this next game and making sure we're prepared for it. We understand each opponent we're going to face. We know what it means to our season. And so our guys are preparing that way.
Thank you. And then as a follow-up, Coach, the Southern game versus Grambling, that's almost a mini Super Bowl for you guys. Can you talk about the excitement for the Bayou Classic?
No, obviously it's an unbelievable venue. It's an unbelievable game. Played in front of a lot of fans and seen nationally. So we're going to worry about that one when we get there. We're excited about it, but at the same time, we got a couple more games to play before we can get focused on that one.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, do you say anything special to a player when he goes against the team he played for last year? I don't know how many times you've run across that, but Miles is going to see some familiar faces. I just wondered, do you have any special instructions?
No, just go play football. I think he gets that he has a lot of still relationships there, knows a lot of the coaches, but at the same time, he knows he's got to be focused on what we're trying to do. He got to block all that out and go play good football for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Can you talk a little bit about Chance Williams, the running back, sophomore, 5'10", 170 pounds, as you know, out of Baton Rouge?
Oh,
He
yeah.
had 119. Oh, I'm sorry, Coach. Just talking about big game. I was just saying he had a big game, 119 yards and 17 carries and got in that end zone twice. Talk about what makes him special.
His speed, his toughness, his elusiveness. Deuce is, we call him Lamborghini. He got all kind of names around here. He's Lamborghini. He's motion. He got a lot of names. And so he's a big-time football player for us. He's the first running back that I went to go see when I became head coach here. So he's living up to his billing. He's done an outstanding job. He's made a lot of plays for us this year. And he's got to continue to do so. But we're glad we have him and Chalk, Floyd Chalk, both those guys in the backfield. They know how to run the football. So they've done a great job this year, and they got to continue. This is when you got to run the ball. Got to be able to run the ball this time of year. It's getting a little colder, a little tougher. And so these guys got to show up, and they have.
The following matchup with Alabama State, obviously you go into Mobile for this matchup. And Alabama State has been really solid on the defensive side of the ball. What do you say when you look at what you want to achieve on the offense going up with the team that has been able to show that they're solid defensively at various levels, particularly in the backfield, just the length they have in cornerbacks and safeties, what they seem to be able to do up front as well?
No, you just said they're a very good-looking athletic team. They're well coached. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to do it. We got to play our best football. That's what it comes down to. We got to take care of the football. We got to be able to control the ball, and we got to do everything we can to score points. You got to score touchdowns against these guys because they do a really good job. They limit you quite a bit, and so we got to be at our best. And we understand the challenge and looking forward to it.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. You're halfway through your second season at Grambling. You're in contention, at least mathematically, for the SWAC West. How would you judge the progression of the program from year one to this point now?
Well, I think that's improvement. Just the fact that we're in it, God forbid we go win it. That'd be a lot of fun, So, and that's what we're trying to do. At the end of the day, it's fun to be playing very meaningful games at the end. And so that was the plan. We didn't know how it was going to unfold. We're trying to keep our heads down and just keep playing football. There's a couple we let get away from us, and we understand that. And those things come back to haunt you. But at the same time, we're still in it. And we got to continue to get better and play good football and see where we'll be at the end of the season.
So in order to do that, what's going to be some next steps you guys need to take to accomplish that?
We got to still continue on defense to stop the run. I think we get that. In the scoring zone, which we had done a great job all year. We got to continue to score the football when we're down there and be better on third down conversions. So those things are going to be very important as we continue this journey over the next several weeks.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Next, we will go to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach Hampton. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have any questions for coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton. Coach, first and foremost, thanks so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Obviously we didn't get the win. We came out first drive and had a bus second play of the game, and they go up 14 or 13 to nothing, and we end up coming back. It was 26-7 at half. We came out and scored, made it 26-14. We get 2 stops, get an interception, and we got 1st and 10. I think it's about maybe 5-6 minutes in the third quarter. We got 1st and 10 on the +19, throw a pass out there, get a holding call, and we don't end up getting any points out of that. And then we're going into the fourth quarter. We're still down 12 points. And then they scored 2 touchdowns late. So we give them credit. Good job by them. We just got to continue to find a way. Guys fought hard. But again, it's the same things I've said every week. Just the mental toughness part of it is being consistently all the way through the game and just not having breakdowns at the wrong times. We haven't been able to run the football. That's hurt us a little bit too, because you can't run it. Then you got to throw it, and we just don't have the guys right now to be able to protect the quarterback. So that's kind of where we're at.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Hampton, how's it going this morning?
Hey, going good. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing pretty well. Wanted to revisit a little bit about the Jackson State matchup at home there. Obviously, great opportunity for your fans. Can you talk a little bit more in terms of how your defense is playing, particularly early in matchups? They seem to be playing pretty strong, but the offense is maybe not giving them enough to keep them in a position to keep things going.
Well, obviously, defensively, man, we're making plays, but then at the wrong times, inopportune times, man, our best players are not making the plays that they need to make. The first touchdown pass, they went for 70 yards. We had a blitz on, and one of our best players didn't take the tight end. They threw it to the tight end in the flat. And, man, the guy went 70 yards. That's frustrating. And regardless of what's going on the offensive side of football, we have a job to do is stop the other offense. And like I said, we've had a chance in every game defensively. We play well, but then it gets to a point where guys, they mentally break. And it's kind of like, but that's frustrating. But, man, we got an opportunity to finish this thing strong. The guys are playing hard. And, I mean, we went in every game thinking we could win. And it won't be any different this week and any other week. Our guys know we haven't put a complete game together. And if we do that, I mean, I don't mean in disrespect to anybody, but we would have a chance to be in every single game. And then, it's a play here, a play there. So we just going to continue to work. And if our guys put the time in and watch the extra film and just trust the guy to his right and to his left, then we're going to get some victories down the road. When I say down the road, talk about this year, I'm not talking about next year. So we got to just stay the course. And like I said, man, we're on the right path, but sometimes being on the right path don't get you where you want to go right now. You just got to stay in the fight, and we're going to stay in the fight.
You speak of finishing strong, playing the right way. You head down to Prairie View, it's their homecoming. They started off pretty strong this season, but they've kind of fallen on tight times over the last couple of matchups and haven't been able to get things going offensively. What do you see your team needing to do against their offense to continue that trend, to put yourself in a position to get a victory on the road?
First of all, I didn't even know it was their homecoming, so you gave me some great information. But obviously, man, Prairie View, Coach McDowell does a good job, man. I think he's one of the best coaches in this league. I like his personality, man. He's been open and inviting, So what we need to do is this. We need to protect the football. All right. Our O-line needs to do a better job of keeping the quarterback upright. We need to be able to create holes, need to strength. It ain't no secret to it. And we just heard every coach on here talk about being able to run the football. And we got some of the best running backs in this league, but you wouldn't know that because we can't keep them upright and we can't create holes. And obviously, we got 2 guys playing quarterback. Chance has done a great job. And then I was proud of Makai this weekend. He came in. Like, that kid can really play football, but he's in his own way. And obviously last game, he made a couple good runs, threw a couple good passes. He threw a pick in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter when he should have ran the ball. But that's the kind of things that are holding us back. Defensively, we got to eliminate the big play. And, man, we got a talented offense we're going to be facing this week. The quarterback's really good. I think they got 3 good receivers. And again, it's homecoming for them. I mean, they'll be fired up. I mean, they just got beat by a really good FAMU football team. And FAMU, we all know that's a good football team over there, offense, defense, and special teams. So, obviously they're going to be, disappointed how they played, and it's their homecoming. And so, man, it's going to be a good battle. We need to come in. We got a long bus ride, and hadn't did this in a long time since I was in high school, but I'm looking forward to it.
I look forward to it now, the way you put that together. Thank you, Coach Hampton. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, man.
Next question goes to Tanner Spearman.
All right, good morning, Coach. I feel like, when we talk, we often talk about the skill positions, but for your offensive line, we don't talk about them enough. What have they done well this year, and what do they still need to work on?
Say that again?
Your offensive line, what have they done well, and what do they need to still work on?
What they done well? I mean, obviously, man, I mean, we don't have a lot of depth and O-line position, so I give them a lot of credit, man. Every game, they show up and they give us everything they got, man. We got to go out and recruit O-line, O-line, O-line. I mean, you heard people talk about O-line, D-line. They're fighting hard. We just don't have enough of them. And then some guys, we got some really good defensive football teams in this conference, and we played them. I mean, Alcorn's good. Southern's good. We played Jackson State. I'm pretty sure those top 3 or 4 defenses. And so we're playing offensively. We're hampered right now. We got a lot of guys that are out, and I don't tell you all the guys that are out, but man, it is what it is. But our offense line has done a good job. They've stayed together. And like I told him, man, I'm just foolish enough to believe that we're going to be able to get this win and win the next 2. That's just how I see it. And so that's my motivation for them. Man, we're going to stay the course. And like I said, we're building it day by day. We ain't going to change thought process. We just got to get these guys to strain on the block, take the guy in front of you, put him in the dirt. That's it. If you got a double team, y'all double up to him, get to the next back. So, we're right where we want to be. We just don't have the wins. And we knew it would be tough as we got in the middle of the season, just seeing where everybody was in the conference. And we just got to go ahead and finish it the right way for the seniors.
And then on the other side, for the defensive line, I know you've had some pretty big injuries to that side of the ball. What do you need to see from those guys against Prairie View in their rushing attack?
Man, obviously, we got to be able to get to the quarterback. Man, that guy he's electric. I mean, he does some more Houdini type stuff back there, and then he likes to throw the deep ball. And man, we got to be good in the secondary. Last week, man, we gave up 5 touchdowns, and obviously, that young man, he made a couple good throws, but 2 of them, I mean, like I said, we had guys didn't do their jobs. But so we got a big challenge ahead of us. But that's football, man, right? So we're excited about the opportunity. And I tell my kids this: I don't want you guys to ever be afraid of the moment. We talk about mental toughness, being consistent, all right, having the right mindset, and just knowing that you can get the job done. I mean, we watch all the film. You guys are prepared. We haven't seen anything in the game that we haven't covered in practice or walked through. So I think being on the road this week will probably help our team. And, on the road, you kind of feel a little closer together. And then probably this 8-hour bus ride ain't going to hurt either. So we'll watch some good movies, Dr. Cavill and Tanner, and then hopefully we'll be able to get off that bus and get some good food, get some good rest, and then it's good homecoming crowd. And I told the players, now I tell the players, they're here to watch us, not them.
All right, thank you, Coach.
We're going to take questions for Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. All right, last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. You're one of 4 first-year coaches in the SWAC this year, and with the exception of T.C. Taylor's and State, collectively you guys have had a rough go of it. What are some of the challenges there are to taking over as a first-year coach trying to resurrect the program?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'll say this. Me and Coach Wade probably had the toughest job, okay, taking over programs. I mean, we were at the bottom. We're at the bottom in a lot of areas. And so we have to set the foundation. Okay, you have to set the standard for what it's going to be in your program, from academics to athletics to how you're going to handle things in the community. So, yeah, we've had a tough go at it, but what I'm most proud of is this. You can't ever say I watched the UAPB football team this year and you didn't see guys compete. We're not going to lay down, and that's what I want these guys to understand, because that's life, man. You got to be able to persevere. And right now, we're persevering through some things, but, man, my administration is great. My AD, Mr. Robinson, man, I love this guy to death. And so we're on the same page. The Chancellor, Chancellor Alexander, man, they know what we need to get done. And so I tell everybody, right now, man, we're going to keep smiling. We ain't going to never stop smiling. We're going to be encouraged. Our kids going to be encouraged, because what they're doing right now is they're setting a foundation for years of success moving forward. And we got to go out and do a great job recruiting. But obviously, being a first-year head coach, I'm excited about it, man. I will show you my cheat sheet, all these notes I got. And like I said, that's the school teacher in me. So I got a lot of notes, man. So next year will be a whole lot simpler. I can promise you that.
And thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, man. Y'all be blessed, and congratulations to Coach Simmons and FAMU. He does a good job, and I'll be down there in a couple of weeks because my wife and kids are still there in Tallahassee, man. Y'all be blessed.
Appreciate it, Coach. Next, we go to Mississippi Valley State and Coach Wade. First and foremost, Coach, thanks so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn State.
Yes, sir. First of all, good morning to everybody. Man, went down there on the reservation, played a really good Alcorn team. It was tough, man. You know, we went in down 10-3 at the half. My whole mindset was just to drag the game to the fourth quarter and just kind of put the pressure on them. And, you know, we came out after the half and wasn't able to put up any points. And it just allowed those guys to score extra touchdown and kind of put us in a situation where we had to try to throw our way back into the game. And then Coach Thomas did a really great job of just kind of muddying up the coverages, just kind of made our quarterback hold the ball a little bit longer than we wanted them to. So it was a very well-coached team, and Coach Mack is doing a really good job down there. Our next opponent is Bethune, going down there. Short week, 12-hour bus ride. That itself is going to be a challenge, and we're looking forward to it.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I agree with Hampton, Coach. You all had tough opportunities in terms of rebuilding these programs, but I think you're heading in the right direction. If you would, you can also let Coach Hampton know that in Greater Houston, some good restaurants. I even heard pretty good steak restaurants, so let him know he should be fine. With that, in terms of your previous matchup, in regards to what you were able to do, I've seen not only in this matchup, the first half, you're able to really stay in game with your defense, particularly giving yourself a chance. But then in the second half, things may kind of get away. Talk about what the success you've seen from your defensive side of the ball, particularly early in matchup.
I mean, we play so hard. You know, we play extremely hard, and you know, everybody know whenever you play Valley, you're gonna get our best shot. I think we run out of gas, just the lack of depth that we have, and you know, that's what we're gonna attack and recruit them. But they always play hard, and like I said, you know, when you don't have the depth that you need, some of those 3-yard runs in the first half become 40, 50-yard runs in the second half, and you know, that's kind of cost us, and you know, it just kind of goes back also, you know, when you're tired, you know, it's easy to not do your job at the level that you're able to do when you're fresh. So, you know, those are just things that are kind of glaring that jumps out between the first and second half of our games.
This week's matchup, you go on the road. It's a Thursday night game. You get the benefits of the television associated, but it's a short week. You play Bethune-Cookman, as you know. What are your thoughts in terms of what you would like to see offensively going this matchup to get going like you did a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, man. You know, when we can protect, we got some guys on the perimeter that can make plays. So, just being able to protect our quarterback, keep him upright, is going to be the key. And just denting the line of scrimmage vertically, just being able to take another grown man and move him against his will. It's going to be very important. Everything started up front. I'm telling you, it's football. It's not as complex as we make it sometimes. It's still being able to run, block, protect, and tackle. So we got to do those things at an extremely high level.
Very fair and great point. Good luck this weekend. Thanks, Coach Wade.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Greetings, Coach. On paper, this is a very evenly matched game here. Can you talk about playing this game on a Thursday night and logistically what that looks like for your program?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a challenge, especially because we're not able to fly out. So it's a challenge. So I don't know if you can win this game in the next 48 hours, but you can definitely lose it, just by not getting there the proper way. So logistically, just kind of making sure that we're doing the things that we need to do as far as coming off a tough physical game against Alcorn. So this week is not a real physical week for us. It's just more mental reps. So making sure that we're doing all those things we need to do to get these guys to Thursday. We're going to leave out on tomorrow. We're going to make it a 2-day trip. We're not going to be on the bus for 12 hours trying to, go and play a game, So what we're going to do, we're going to leave out on tomorrow morning. We're going to stop Tuscaloosa, get us a good practice in and eat lunch there. And then we're going to head to Tallahassee. We're going to stay in Tallahassee that night. And Wednesday morning, we'll get up, go to Florida State and get us a walkthrough in. Then we'll head down to Daytona for the game. So like I said, just, we don't want to lose this game before we get there. And it's a strong possibility that you can do that if you don't manage, getting there the right way. So the hardest part about what we do this week is just being strategic with how we want to practice and the proper steps that it takes to be able to get our guys ready to go play at a high level on Thursday.
That's a wise decision, Coach. I see why you're the head coach of that program. Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Brandon. Good morning.
Wanted to kind of circle back to a answer that you just talked about. I know you were talking about the depth, or in some cases, the lack thereof. And obviously, sometimes that can come down to either not having the right bodies or not enough bodies. And in terms of speaking to that, scholarships at times has been a challenge for you all down at Valley. On media day, you mentioned that you all would be running at about 90% in terms of your available scholarships. As you're obviously recruiting is an ongoing thing. As you move toward, recruiting more after the season, will you be operating at a similar number in terms of scholarships that you'll be able to offer to help address some of those depth issues that you referenced earlier?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. We're recruiting all day, every day. Every day we're in the office, we start with recruiting. So we're definitely doing it. So, yeah, we're going to address that. And everything that we do with recruiting starts up front. So just getting more offensive, defensive line in here, I think, is the key. That's why FAM is so good. That's why they're the champs of the East right now. I mean, they're good up front on both sides of the ball. So, the game is won and lost in those trenches. So we'll address that. I don't talk about it much because, I believe that sometimes you can focus so much on the future that you forget to enjoy the present. So again, we know the kids we got here and they deserve all of us. So I don't really get out talking about bringing new guys in, even though we know we'll bring some guys in. But right now we got a group of young men that's, fighting for us. And all of our attention is on those guys and they deserve that. They're giving it up for us each and every day. So we'll address that at the proper time. But right now, man, I really love these guys that we have here. And we're going to keep loving them up, and they deserve all of us because they given us all of them. So, but again, those things will be addressed at the proper time, no doubt about it.
Well, thanks, Coach, and good luck with the matchup this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I should say.
Yes.
Any final questions for Coach Wade with Mississippi Valley State? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Hey, just one more thing. Coach Hampton said something very important. He said we both got the toughest jobs, and I agree. But one thing I know about the God that we serve, I mean, he give his toughest soldier the toughest challenge. So, I know he feels the same way. I'm excited about this opportunity that I have here at the Valley.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next, we go to Prairie View A&M and Coach McDowell. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Florida A&M.
Oh, man, do I have to?
Appreciate it, Coach.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, we went down to Tallahassee, and again, we played against a really good football team, and we knew that going into that game that it was going to be a battle. Again, I think defensively we did very well. Should I say not very well? We did okay first half. We did enough to stop a powerhouse like them to give ourselves a chance, even with the score that it was. We thought at halftime that at worst maybe 21-7 or 21-14 going into halftime. But again, a lot of times when you go in against a good team and you don't make tackles, they went from the -5 to our plus 35, then into the end zone. And good teams like that, if you don't do what you're supposed to as a defense, miss tackles along that long run with the tight end coming out of the backfield to get him down there to the 35, and then boom, we didn't roll to the middle of the field, and boom, touchdown. So, and again, just mistakes again that we just continue to make that we shouldn't be making at this particular time during the season. We as coaches got to get in the film room and get these guys, mentally tough as well as physically tough, and execute their assignment. And again, like I said, I think we still had a chance, but then we came out second half, and then it just went downhill from there. I mean, they went straight down the field, played big boy ball on us, and they wore us down with those big guys, and we just again. Anytime you get a football team like that, and they're able to run the ball and don't make tackles, I mean, we was horrific in the tackling that second half. And again, I don't know if we just had too much pickle juice at halftime or what, but we just couldn't tackle, man. And anytime you go against a team like that or any team, bad tackling, big plays are going to happen, and you're not going to have yourself a chance, especially when the offense is not producing. And again, just that side of the football. I mean, oh man, we are in our own way. We got to figure out with these young men how to get out of their own way. Just blowing assignments, and I don't have enough time to tell you guys, what we went over yesterday, and just the things that we saw that could have easily, been, 28.
Coach, can you hear us? All right, I think we might have had some technical difficulties. We'll try to get Coach back here connected. Appreciate your patience. All right, we're going to pause momentarily as we attempt to get Coach McDowell's connection stable again. We do apologize for any inconvenience and appreciate your patience. All right, so we do apologize. We've had some technical difficulties with regaining Coach McDowell's connection to the Zoom, so we will move forward. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Our next coach will be Southern University head coach Eric Dooley. I do see that we have Coach with us. Once again, if you have questions, please utilize your raise your hand feature. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we got additional time, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Dooley from Southern University. Coach, first and foremost, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Texas Southern.
Absolutely. Good morning. Coach McKinley brought his team in and had those guys playing. Those guys played well. I didn't think that we played extremely well, but of course, Texas Southern had a lot to do with that, the way those guys was prepared. The thing about it, we know it was going to be a hard-fought contest. When you talk about some of the things that took place and what type of coaching staff that he has and the type of coach that he was. But the thing that I do like about my team, the thing about it, it was a tough outing for us. At the end of the day, we wind up getting the W, and that's what it is about, fighting for 60 minutes. Fortunate enough, this one here went over 60 minutes, but they had the resilience to continue to fight in. And that's the one thing I do know about the Jaguars. We're going to fight to the end and make sure that we give ourselves a chance to move forward. So, that's going to be the name of the game in this conference right now. There's no easy games. All the coaches have already alluded to that right there. So we just got to continue to press and get better each week as we continue to play this, what I call a one-week playoff.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. And I do see that we have Coach Dooley that's joined us. For our media that had questions for Coach, if he is available, we will work him back into the schedule after Coach Taylor, Jackson State, speaks from 11:55 to 12:05. So we'll get those questions for Coach McDowell answered at that point. But with that being said, we'll open the floor for questions for Coach Dooley. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach, y'all been winning on defense. And Kelby Givens, I know you've spoken about him so many times, how mature he is, but he's playing, it seems like, at another level this year. And would you talk about it, the big play he made and everything he did to help y'all win?
Absolutely a tremendous talent, but, I just like to revert back to that. I think you win as a team. That's why they have three phases, offense, defense, and special team. Each team got to play their part. Some teams going to be a little better than others, but I think you win as a team, and that's the concept that we have here. We all for one another, so we understand that. But Kelvin Givens have been playing some exciting football to be such a young guy. So, but that's his credit to the way that he works. He trains like that. Some of the things that he does, you don't have to be surprised behind it, because the way he trained, the way he attack and approach everything that he's a part of, he's even approaching his academics as well, the same way he approach practicing football.
Oh, as a follow-up, I didn't get a chance to ask you this after the game, but right before halftime when Texas Southern scored a touchdown, you were very upset with the officials about something, and I never got a clarification on what that was about. Had you called a timeout that they didn't give you, or what was that about?
Yeah, I did, but I don't get into what things transpire within the game. If you get a chance to notice it, that's fine, but I don't respond on things such as that matter right there. It worked out for us. At the end of the day, we got the W. So what happened on there was some things that needed to be taken care of, but it's over with now. I can't live in the rearview mirror. I'm just focusing right now on a great Alcorn well-coached football team by McNair.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Can you talk about Kendrick Grimes, the sophomore running back from Houston? This is a matchup where we had feature running backs coming out of Texas, Houston area for both teams, but Kendrick really played well. Obviously had 11 carries for 136 yards and got in the end zone twice. Talk about his play in this game as well as this season thus far.
Well, each week when you look at a Kendrick Grimes, and you'll probably hear me say that about a lot of players that we have here, the young man, he understands how to practice. He understands how to prepare himself. And, he's just been growing each week, getting better. When his opportunity presents itself, he takes full advantage of it. And I think that's for anyone. That's what you have to do. But extremely, I keep saying it over and over, extremely talented young man that does a great job for us. And fortunate enough right now, each week he's getting better and better. And, you know, when you get into the ending part of the season, you want running backs to be able to step up and do some things that he's doing right now to be able to carry us. So I'm very, very pleased and excited for Kendrick Grimes, and I think the best is still yet to come.
Wanted to follow up as you turn the page. You alluded to a 1 week playoff, which I certainly could see what that means going on the road to Alcorn State Braves that have been playing quietly. It seems amazing, really solid football. Talk about the challenge of this team that is now able to pass, even though they seem to like did it going on the ground, and now they're able to run the ball as well. Talk about what makes them so challenged from an offensive perspective with the value defense that you will have to play against that.
Well, first of all, when you talk about a Coach McNair football team, you know they're going to be well coached and well balanced. So I did expect that whatever may have happened early on, where everyone thought it was just a run team, some things have to start clicking chemistry wise. But it's going to be a huge challenge. Everybody know that. I've been around this conference for a long time, and when you go down there to Alcorn and play down there, it's all good that you're going to play on the reservation, but then you're going to play a tough football team. So we know that, but you got to love that being a part of SWAC football. You know that it's going to be challenging, and that's why you tell your players to come to HBCU, especially the SWAC, because of the type of experience you're going to have, the type of games you're going to have, and it's going to be, I think, college day at its best, Black college football at its best.
No doubt about it. I look forward to the matchup. Well put. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Congratulations on the win. But before I talk football, I'd like to kind of ask about the Southern University and SWAC legend Sean Wallace and his health status.
He's in I will say this here. I always try to allude to individual and try to stay, private on that individual. But I tell you what, he's a fighter. The thing about him, he comes to the game and do what he's capable of doing. But he's in great spirit right now. And the thing is that I love about it, and I get a chance to mention it right now. He served the same God that I serve, and we know within His Word, He said, "By His stripes we are healed." So we trust in we trust in God and understand, regardless of what the outcome, we know that He's able to do it, and He's in great spirit. He's a fighter, so he's doing well right now.
And there's been a foundation established for those that may want to donate to the Wallace Foundation. Can you give us any information regarding that?
Absolutely. You should be able to log on to our website. They have the links where you can get the link and go in and make donations. So there's a good asserted effort by the community. I think the community have backed them well, and we appreciate that because we're gonna continue to fight this fight together. But you can log in on our website and find a link for Sean Wallace Foundation.
And Andrew, if I could get a football question in, please, sir.
Yes, sir.
And so, Coach, 2 4-1 teams, top of the Western Division, 5-3 overall. Both teams, they've won 4 in a row. You've won 3 in a row. Talk to us about this game Saturday.
Wow, it's huge. There's no question about it. But the thing about it, the records seem to be identical, a lot of shape, form, and fashion. But it don't matter who you play in this conference. You better be prepared to play, and like so. But I do know about Coach McNair football team. It's going to be a well-coached football team. This is going to be an exciting event. Of course, it's going to be a huge challenge for us having to go on the road. But of course, Jaguars going to accept the challenge, and I think it's going to be a great football game.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Coach, you've been to the reservation many times in the past. What makes it so tough?
Just the environment, it's that college atmosphere that you look for. You got individuals all on the hill. You got individuals standing at the top of the hill. It's a packed house, and you love it. It's like you caught up into a bowl. But that's why you play in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, known as the SWAC, because of venues like that. You know that you're going to play. It's no different than playing in Mumford Stadium. Some of the same thing that happened there going to happen. That happens here, happens there. So it's just a tough situation. I guess the biggest thing is it's not so much it being a packed house. You're playing a great football team that's going to fight to the end.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
How you doing, Coach Dooley?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for taking my question. You have 3 tough games back to back to end the season. A repeat possibly to the SWAC championship. So these are a really high stakes game. Your team was under a lot of adversity this past weekend. Can you expound a little bit about that fourth quarter coaching when it came down to the line and the ability to get your players to win that game in such a extreme atmosphere?
It's just that a lot of coaches can take the credit for it with being within the situation, but when you talk about the players, just the will to just not to give up and just to not quit. I think the resilience of the team and the way that they all fought together, through adversity, that's where you're going to build your strength. And I can see that the team, not that it was in a bad way, but they continued to fight, and they understood the opportunity that they have. They're not going to quit until that clock says 0. And, you might have to pull them off the field because they feel they always have a chance as long as we can step on that green. So my hat goes off to every individual because I think, regardless of how the game was played throughout the whole game, I think every unit had to play a part in order for us to be successful at the end. And that's what it takes. You got to be able to come together. And we always tell, we got that acronym that we use. We're not concerned with who's right. We're concerned with what's right. And we got it right together. And we was fortunate enough to come out with a victory.
Thank you. And Coach, as a follow-up question, can you talk a little bit about your kicker, Joshua Griffin, with his 54-yard field goal? You've had some luck with your kickers making big plays the last couple of years. So can you expound about that young man?
Let me change it for you. I've been blessed to have a great kicker that makes some great field goals for us, but that young man has an NFL leg. I can say that he has a strong leg, and we witness it in practice. But of course, everyone that's not in our practice don't see some of the things that he does. I mean, he had an opportunity to make a 65-yarder in practice. Of course, it wasn't with no pressure, but just the fact that he had the leg strength to kick it in practice. Of course, we had a little adversity going into this kick right here because it was against the wind. But the young man did not blank a bit. He was very, very confident, and it pulled through for us. But he does have an NFL leg. And the great thing about it, he has another year.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Dooley, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next up, we go to Texas Southern and head coach McKinney. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, first and foremost, Coach McKinney, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
Yeah, Coach Dooley just did a great job of recapping it, but it's like a heavyweight fight, championship fight, back and forth. Held each other to 0 points in the first quarter. We were able to take a lead in the second quarter and going into half. Came out of half and had an opportunity to really put the game in our favor. And we missed 2 opportunities there in the red zone to score some points, touchdowns, or what have you. But that's a testament to their defense. They did a really good job of stopping us there on the goal line. Went back and forth in the fourth quarter. Had a miscue with a QB running back miss exchange, fumble. They scoop and score for a touchdown. Kind of put themselves in position to send it to overtime. Kid made a great kick, 54-yarder against the wind. Our hats off to them. We lost the game in overtime. Great game, 2 great teams going at each other. Coach Dooley's going to always have great coach teams, and we just look forward to the competition. Hate that our team came out on the end of it that we did.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Talking about the running back matchup between Kendrick Grimes and Ladarius Owens. 244 yards on 36 carries was amazing. He did have the 2 fumbles that were costly, but talk about in regards to his play and his ability to run the way he does.
He's a really talented running back. He's one of the better running backs in our league, and it's a league full of really good running backs. And I want to say he's the leading rusher in the league at this point. Hopefully we can keep him going, but he's extremely talented. You know, a lot of people see what he does with the ball in his hands, running the ball, but he's done a tremendous job for us in protection. He's also done a great job for us catching the ball out of the backfield, and he's just a special talent. And to see Kendrick Grimes on the other side of it, you know, 2 guys from Houston, that was really fun to watch.
Coach, your team has had some emotional losses this year, key wins, but some emotional losses, literally starting from the beginning of the year with your rival in Prairie View in overtime, and just this second loss, if you would, in terms of Southern, also in overtime. Talk about their ability to turn the page and still get going for this next game against Jackson State, which will be a tough one in terms of going on the road to Jackson this weekend.
Yeah, our team does a great job of focusing on what's next. There's not anything we can do about what's happened in the past. We know that we're a really good football team. Things just haven't gone our way in certain situations, certain games, but we prepare for the next opponent, and we watch the film, figure out what mistakes we've made, what we need to correct, and then we just get ready for our next opponent. You know, there's nothing we can do about the Southern game, but we can prepare ourselves to go into Jackson and be the best team that we can be.
Thank you, Coach McKinney. Look forward to the matchup. Good luck.
Thank you.
The question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach McKinney. Good morning to you. Ty Miller with Black College Football Weekly.
Good morning, Ty.
Good morning, Coach. What's the payoff for tough losses like this going forward for the coaching staff and the players as well?
Payoff?
Yes.
I mean, we learn lessons, you know, and the one lesson that we've learned in a few games this year is that when we get an opportunity to put teams away, we've got to put them away. And so turning the ball over late in games is not the way to finish the games. And so we've got to do a better job of protecting the ball late in games when we have leads and finishing them, closing out teams when we have those opportunities.
In terms of the positive aspects, what have you learned about your team that you're most proud of in spite of the losses?
This is a resilient group of kids. You know, we are without a tremendous amount of guys we came into the season expecting to play. Andrew Body being one of them. Xavier Lewis was a preseason return specialist, hadn't played since the first or second game. I can go on and on about those guys, but it's been a next man up situation, and I couldn't be more proud of the effort and the way our guys have played throughout this season.
And Andrew, if I could ask one final question.
Yes, sir.
Coach, can you talk about your main concerns about Jackson State as you take it on the Tigers?
Oh, they're a really talented team. You know, they were picked 1 or 2 in the SWAC and Black college football polls early on in the year, and they're the same team. They're extremely talented. They play defense with the best of them. They have I don't know which quarterback they're going to play this week, but they have 2 extremely talented quarterbacks with some receivers to throw the ball to, with a great offensive line to protect those guys, and the run game is extremely well. This is a huge challenge for us, and it's on the road. It's always hard to win on the road, but our guys are up for the challenge. You know, we want to send our seniors out with our last road game of this season this week, so we're going to prepare as if we're playing for the championship, and we're going to put that championship effort out on the field.
All right, Coach, thank you, and good luck on the road this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach McKinney, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next up, we go to our final, we actually have two coaches. Will be followed, doing an adjustment to our schedule by Coach McDowell after Coach Taylor's comments. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Coach, first and foremost, as always, thank you so much for your time. And if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Good team win for our football team. I thought it was a complete game on all three phases. Finally, for our program to come out and show what we did at Pine Bluff, I was very pleased. Special teams did well, played well defensively, offensively, had some good things going. Last road trip of the season, so it's good to be back in the vet these last 2 weeks to finish up the season, but very proud of our football team and what they displayed this past weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, first question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How's it going this morning, Coach Taylor?
Going good, Doc. How you doing?
Oh, well. I want to talk about your quarterback, Jacoby Morgan, just his overall play. Obviously, he put up some big numbers in terms of 373 yards, 5 touchdowns, 26-36. He did have the interception. What were your thoughts in terms of his play and his growth from the previous week?
I was very pleased, to see him take another step. And after that first start on last week against Mississippi Valley, we wanted to see if he could come out and make some throws this week against a Pine Bluff defense. And he did a great job of that. He distributed the ball around to the tight ends, the receivers, running backs, and, just led the football team up and down the field. So very pleased with what I saw in him, and, very pleased and excited for his next start. He's only going to get better with time. The more reps he get, continuously, he's going to get better. A kid that's 6'4", 6'5", 220 pounds, that's played at his highest level, but still a young quarterback. So he's still growing, but I'm very proud of him and what he did this past weekend.
Turning the page to your next matchup with Texas Southern coming in. You just heard Coach close out his interview there. In regards to Ladarius, what he is able to do, imagine it should be a significant matchup for your defense. The way they've played and attacked, their ability to slow him down to really give you some control in that game against Texas Southern University. Can you talk about that matchup?
Definitely. It's going to be an exciting matchup with them coming into Jackson. He's a good football player, does some good things for that football team and that offense. So it's going to be a challenge defense. We're going to have to figure out ways to stop him, and the thing about it, it can be time consuming when they have the ball, when a guy like that is chopping up, yardage on the ground. So we got to find ways to stop him and, and get those guys off the field on third down. But my defense is looking forward to it. I know their offensive unit is looking forward to going up against our defense. So should be an interesting matchup come this weekend.
Thank you, Coach Taylor. Good luck this week. Look forward to it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Doc.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Hey, Coach T.C. Taylor, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for taking my question. The Jackson State Tigers, would you say that this is probably one of the more complete games? You talked a lot about the offense clicking on some games and the defense. Can you talk a little bit about the complete game and if this is what you would call one of those types of games?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and not just the football players are on point too. They did a tremendous job out there this weekend. But like I was saying earlier, all three phases played well. Special teams, our kickoff teams flew around. We were able to get Matt Noel back out there, our punter, and he did a great job punting the football. We saw what Dylan Watson brings to the table as a kicker. Leilani did a great job. She went out there, made 3 extra points. So the special teams were lights out. Defensively, it's just a cast of characters over there on the defense that can get after. Every week we're calling somebody else's name. They're creating turnovers and flying around. And offensively, just to see what Jacoby and Morgan did, we got J.D. Martin back out there. He was a spark for us. Fabian McCray has been getting better every week. Kobe Paul, some other guys have just been playing great football for us. So it was very pleasing to see the things that this football team has did this past weekend.
And as a follow-up, Coach, do you have I know normally you guys don't speak on injuries, but do you have any updates on K5 and BJ Washington and their status?
Well, they'll be going to the doctor's on today. So once we get with the doctors, we get some information back. I'll be able to give more information out. It's just the limited things I have on those guys. I know BJ's had an ankle issue and K5 has a shoulder issue right now.
Thank you so much for that, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Jim Klein, Peter.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask you about Leilani. Can you foresee her being a full-time starting kicker for you? And what are your plans for her as the season goes on?
Oh, well, that's like I told her, it's no different than any other position. We're going to create competition at every position on our football team. And she's been doing well, and that's why I had the confidence in putting her out there. She was doing well in practice this past week leading up to Pine Bluff, and the week before her leg was getting stronger. She was gaining confidence. So I had no issue putting her out there, but that's going to be up to her. We're going to bring her back. She's a part of this football team, but just like any position on the football team, you're going to have to compete, for a job here and show that, the best player is going to get on the field.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. For the first time in like the last 3 years, you guys will be playing games at the end of the season and don't have stakes attached to them. What's going to be the mentality moving forward for you guys to be able to finish the season strong, knowing that you won't be playing for a SWAC title or SWAC East title?
Mm-hmm. Well, like I always tell the team, if we started, we're going to finish it. We want to start the same way. We want to finish the same way we started the season, with energy and everything, because it's a privilege to have football games, be able to play football games. The game we play, they understand that. That's why they are still giving a tremendous effort out there each and every quarter for this football team. We take pride in wearing the block, and we understand it. We don't want to take any team lightly. So regardless if we're playing for a championship or not, we're playing football games. And, that's the way we're going to finish this thing in these last 2 weeks.
And so with these last 2 weeks coming up, what do you want to see from the team to prepare you for next year?
Just continue to grow. We're steady growing. We're steady getting better. We got a lot of guys that come back next season. A lot of these football players that we have on this team, on this roster, have another 2-3 years of eligibility left. So we want to continue to get better, continue to win football games. And that's something that we can carry momentum going into the spring and as well as recruiting.
All right, thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to JT Keith.
Coach, JT Keith, USA Today. Hey, you said Saturday that you lost Jency Riley for the year. What did you lose in him by having him out for the season?
Yeah, Jency has been out since the Texas State game. So brings a lot of speed to the tight end position. Kid that was getting better. You saw the explosive play he had against the South Carolina State team. So huge loss there. But we had some other guys that stepped up at that position. DJ is a great player there. All-American. Hayden Hagler is getting better. He had a touchdown this past weekend. So we got some guys that stepped up, but a huge loss when you lose a Jency Riley, in that Texas State game.
Coach, can you speak on how Hayden Hagler's bounced back from? He caught the same exact pass that he dropped in the North Carolina Central Championship game. Same exact pass he dropped, he caught. How he persevered, he graduated, got married. Can you speak a little bit about him?
Well, you just got to keep playing. Hayden is a very tough kid, very high, confident kid. Anytime in that situation he did have to drop, he just had to put that behind him, and that's what I told him. And he was good. He continued to work, getting better. He took the offseason, got stronger, got bigger, got faster, and confidence continued to rise. And he's been having a good season. He didn't let that bother him, regardless of what people said about him coming out of that championship game. He didn't let that bother him. He continued to get better, getting better week in, week out. And you just see that now. He played a lot of snaps this past weekend for us. I'm excited about what he's going to bring to the table in the future.
Coach, finally, Herb Mulligan, any update on him? Will we see him this week?
Hopefully, we'll again continue to evaluate him, see how he moves around, and make a decision towards the end of the week.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Everybody be safe.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, next we will go back to Coach McDowell. I do see that we have Coach with us. Coach, I think you were cut off there in your comments, but if it's okay with you, if we could just go directly to questions.
Absolutely.
All right. If you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature. I do believe we did have a question initially from Dr. Kenyatta Cavill.
Yes, Coach. How you doing this afternoon? Appreciate you finding a way to jump back on.
Thank you, sir. I apologize.
Understand, no problem. Just wanted to ask you in terms of that tough matchup with everything going into that game. You know, how do you keep your team positive, if you would use that framework, about moving forward and finding a way to try to stay in the race?
Yeah. Again, the way to keep them positive, Doc, is again just to get them out here, going against each other. Forget about all the mistakes that we made during the course of the game, and get back in the film room, get it corrected, and come back out on the field and get going. And so that again, these guys know that they're a good football team. Now it's just really about us, them, as a whole, as a unit, as a coaching staff, and as players, staying together, understanding what still is at stake, and we're not out of it. So they just got to come back out and and make the corrections and not make the mistakes the same ones that they keep making it during going down during the course of the game, man. Because again, these guys are pretty athletic, and they work hard, but now it's how hard do you work in the film room, getting these mistakes that you continue to make, get it corrected, to where we don't make mistakes like this again. And if we do, again, we'll be a pretty darn good football team.
From a follow-up question, you speak about the mistakes. In a lot of ways, we see that analyzing the game in terms of the inconsistency. Yeah. They're able to play well in different stretches, maybe a quarter, maybe a half. What can you do with the players and the coaches in regards to trying to strengthen and getting consistently throughout the game?
Again, they gotta be able to, as players. Again, coaches are here to put guys in position to make the plays. And as I said earlier, and before I got cut off, if you guys were here and see what we went over with them in the team meetings, offensive, defense, you guys will see and understand. Again, I know everybody wants to blame the coaches, D coordinator, OC, and guys. That's not the case. Because again, if that was the case, then I would handle that. But again, we put these young men in position to make plays, and again, we bring them into the film room, ask them specifically what responsibility that they have, and they can tell it to you right then and there. But now they have to put it on themselves, their ownership on themselves, to go out and execute the play during game time. Because again, we work on it in practice. We know what the opponent is going to do defensively, offensively. Had great plans for both of it, special teams as well. And now they have to go out and execute it. And again, and by them executing it, they can't make those same mistakes over and over. And we sat down, had about 15 plays we took off from offense, and of those 15, probably 10 easily could have been in the red zone or the 5-yard line or an end zone, or at worst, kicking a field goal, taking an attempt to kick the field goal. So we got to make sure that these young men take it upon themselves to get in the study room, figure out why they're not running the routes where we need them to run it, why they're not blocking where we need them to block, and figure it out and figure it out real fast. Because we got a good football team, Coach Champ coming in here, and these guys gonna come in here ready to play some football. So we got to be able to match the energy or be better than the energy that we've shown in the past, man.
Andrew, might have one quick follow-up.
Yes, sir.
About Connor Wisham. I've seen that he took a tough hit where he fell, had to be walked off in terms of help with his hand. Can you give an update in terms of his injury or any other player that may be injured in that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, again, Willie and his team, man, they came out second half, Doc, and they handed to us. Like I said, they went down the field. They played big ball with us, and we ended up getting a lot of guys hurt that second half. Two our starting running back went down, and to answer your question, Connor with the elbow, separated elbow, and again, he might be out for the rest of the year. Then Caleb Johnson got through the hole and probably about to get another 15, 20 yards and into the red zone and pulls a calf muscle. So he went down. So now we're scrambling to play these young bucks, and again we got some young backs that can get it done. Brian Jenkins. We couldn't play him. He wasn't able to play due to concussion protocol. But again, that's another key guy that wasn't planned, and I had to suspend one of my other top guys. The day of the game before we left. Because it's all field activities. Shamar Savage. So hope he'll be back. Hopefully we can get him back this week and get Brian back this week. And in Bloomfield, him and Spiller, ran into each other, both running the post, and one should have been running the dig. So it's little things like that that's causing us to not execute. And he had a big gash in his leg, so it's going to be a day-to-day thing with him. And hopefully we can get some guys healthy. Get ready to play a good football team coming in here.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Be down there for the matchup.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, Coach Bubba, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
So I know you guys had about 52 seconds left in that second quarter. 1st and 10, and the FAMU's 35. That's when Trezon threw that pick that they returned to the 22-yard line. What did he say he saw there when he made that pass? And also, what did you communicate to him at that time? Because the game still wasn't out of reach, even though they even scored and went up 14. So kind of what was the communication there on what he saw, and what did you let him know at that time?
Again, it was just, they were just more physical than we were. Their DN pushed our tackle back, 15, 20 yards, it seemed like, and, got in his way, messed up his throwing progression. And, and that's what caused it. So, and again, had we had time, or should I say, had he had time to get it done, get it caught, get it thrown, should I say, we was in position to make a great play, because Spiller was coming wide open. So, but again, we got to hold our own up on the front line and give this guy time to throw the ball. And when he does have the time, you guys see that he can make some things happen.
Gotcha. And just a follow-up, I know you mentioned a little bit earlier about the disconnect. How do you get the information across to the players so that what you're teaching them in practice actually gets translated on the field, right? Because I think that's what you've been saying has been the issue throughout the year so far. So, what are the tweaks that you guys see that you guys can put in place in order to help them translate to actual game time on the field?
I think the only situation, the remedy for that right now, again, is we got to bring them in a little bit more, and they got to take ownership of themselves. Again, just coming in and watching extra film and being able to see what they did wrong and just being able to correct it. Again, we're fine, pretty much, should I say, throughout the week. And then, then we get to game time, and then guys forget where they're supposed to run a route, forget a check down, and little things like that, that gets you beat against a good team, or against any team if you continue to make that many mistakes. So as coaching staff, as I told them, heck, we need to do wristbands with these guys, or again, bring them in a little bit earlier and a little bit more, get them in, watching film on their own so they can see it more and more. And again, I'm all about repetition. So, the more we rep it, the more they see it. Hopefully, the better we get at it.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Coach, appreciate you staying on with us, and look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Coach. This concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, October 30th. We will get this Zoom audio and video recording processed and sent out here momentarily. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew.
Yes, sir. Thank you.